Irapuato Fútbol Club is a professional football club based in Irapuato, Guanajuato, Mexico. They are currently playing in the Liga Premier de Ascenso in the Segunda Division de Mexico. Irapuato has mostly played in the Promotion League of Mexico, formerly Primera División A or Ascenso MX. From 2000 to 2004, the team briefly rose to prominence in the Liga MX, reaching the playoffs. Historically, Irapuato has spent over 26 years in the Primera Division, never quite excelling to challenge for the title. The team was relegated from the Primera Division in 2004, but not because of their on-field performance, but because of financial irregularities. In 2013, the team then took a turn for the worse, being relegated to Liga Premier, the third division of Mexico, for a year. The team finally returned to Ascenso MX in May 2014 when Balinas Galeana decided to move to Irapuato, and also changed the name to Club Irapuato, once again giving Irapuato a football team. History. The club dates back to 1910 in the city of Irapuato, where a club was founded under the name Club Mutualista Irapuatense by Pedro Ganu and by Diego Masqueda, who was an important person in the sports development in the city, and would later go on to establish the club's rival Club Leon in the 1920s. In its first years, many clubs were formed in order to create a football league in Guanajuato. Deportivo Irapuato International, Club Mart, ISCO and Club Leon inaugurated the league in 1925. The first tournament was won by Club Mart because the tournament was not finished due to problems between Irapuato and ISCO. In 1928 the club reached the final and played it against Deportivo International. The club's squad was made up by Kurt Lanca's keeper Antonio Aguilar and Jose Núñez playing defender Julian Ramirez, Francisco Bellman and Salvador Silva in the midfield, and Antonio El Gato, Baltazar, Crisoforo Juarez, Secundino Alvarado, Diofilo and Juan Aguilera playing as forwards. The club managed to come out with a 1-0 victory, winning its first league title. This club wore a white shirt with black shorts and socks. The club that plays today under the name Club Deportivo Irapuato was founded in 1948, where it had trouble staying in the league. In the late 1940s there were various clubs that represented the city of Irapuato, and it was until 1948 when they decided to merge in order to become more competitive, and so they did, and joined the second division in 1949. The men in charge of the merge were Oscar Bonfilio and Jesus Vacagana. Both had participated in the 1928 Olympic Games in Amsterdam. The club would once again change its name, this time to Club Deportivo Irapuato A.C., which many people believe to be the date when the club was established. Mexico Primera Division. The club was one of the first clubs to inaugurate the Segunda Division de Mexico in the 1949-50 tournament, where after 3 seasons the club managed to win its first promotion. The club made its Primera Division debut in the league on the 22nd of August 1954 against Zacatepec. They beat 4-5. In the second round the club played at home in the Estadio Revolución Stadium against Puebla F.C., who they also defeated 4-0. The club also revived its rivalry, which had stopped in the late 1930s against Club Leon. That game ended in a 1-1 draw. The club's best tournament was the 1963-64 Mexican Primera Division season, where the club finished fourth with 32 points. Guadalajara finished with 33 points. Relegation. In the 1971-72 season, the club found itself playing in Group 2 with clubs Monterrey, Guadalajara, Puebla, Atlante, Pachuca, Pumas, Toluca and Torreon. At the end of the tournament, the club finished last and had to play a relegation series against the other last-place teams. The series was played against Torreon, Atlético Español, and Veracruz. The first match was played against Veracruz, who defeated them 3-1 the first leg. The second leg ended in a 0-0 draw. The last game was played against Torreon in the Estadio Jalisco, where Irapuato lost 1-0 and were relegated for the first time in 18 years to the Second Division. Back in the Segunda Division, the club became a top club, reaching the final in its first year back against Petroleros de Ciudad Madero. The first game was played in Irapuato, which they won 1-0. It seemed the club would clinch its promotion having the second match at home, but surprisingly Ciudad Madero came out with a 2-0 victory and so earning its promotion. In the 1974-75 season, the club had its second opportunity when they once again reached the final, this time playing against Tacos. The club would lose that final match 1-0. It took place in the Estadio Azteca in Mexico City. The club would get a third opportunity to earn a promotion in 1978, this time against Zacatepec. This time a series was played. The first match ended in a 1-0 victory for Zacatepec. The second match ended in a 4-1 victory for Zacatepec, and so the club would lost its third promotion series in 6 years. Second promotion. In the 1980s, the club had a streak of qualifying to the quarterfinals but not being able to reach the final. After 4 years, the club finally managed to reach the final in the 1984-85 tournament under the management of Diego Malta Solano against Pachuca. The first match was played in Irapuato, where they took a 2-1 advantage. In the return match, Irapuato came out with a win and finally earned the promotion after 13 years. Notable players from that club were Anselmo Romero, Rafael Lira, Jesus Montes, Eugenio Constantino and Teodoro Orozco. Second relegation. In the 1990-91 season, Irapuato got relegated to the second division for the second time. In 1994, Irapuato joined the newly formed Primera Division and got the opportunity to return to the Primera Division. 1999-00 promotion. In the Invierno 99 season, Irapuato faced Zacatepec in the final. They beat them 3-1 in the first leg with goals from Christian Ariel Morales and Martin Rodriguez. In the second leg, things got complicated when Zacatepec tied the game, but Morales and Rodriguez scored and they took the championship with an overall score of 5-3. In the Verano 00 season, the champion Irapuato made it to the final again, this time facing Cruz Azul Hidalgo. If Irapuato would win, they would be promoted to the Primera Division. The first leg was played in Hidalgo and the score was 2-2. Martin Rodriguez and Jesus Gutierrez scored the 2 goals for Irapuato. The second leg and promotional final was played in the Sergio Leon Chavez on the 10th of June 2000. The final score was 2-2. Christian Morales and Martin Rodriguez scored for Irapuato. Alejandro Corona and James Owusu-Ansah scored for Cruz Azul Hidalgo. In extra time, no one scored, so they went to penalties. Cruz Azul Hidalgo's Pedro Resendez Joseph Nemec scored the penalties, but Eric Marin and Mario Ramirez missed. However, Irapuato's Martin Rodriguez, Christian Morales, Victor Saavedra and Hector Gomez scored the penalties. The final score was 4-2 in penalties. Irapuato would return to the Primera Division almost a decade after being relegated in 1991. First disappearance. Suddenly on the 26th of December 2001, Grupo Pegaso announces Irapuato was sold to Veracruz for its spot in the Primera Division, and Irapuato was left without a team for the Verano 2002 season, and in the Invierno 2002 season, or Apertura 2002 as it was now called. Querétaro, a second division team, moved to Irapuato under the name Real Irapuato. In the first season they made it to the final versus C.F. La Piedad and eventually win the Apertura 2002 championship in penalties. First reappearance for the Apertura 2002, Querétaro F.C. from the Primera División A transferred to Irapuato when La Piedad dissolved in the Primera División. 2002-03 promotion. In the 2003 season, Irapuato makes it to the 2002-03 promotional final against Clausura 2003 champions and arch-rivals Club Leon. The first leg was played on the 18th of June 2003. Irapuato won the Clásico del Barrio and the first game in Leon's home 2-1 with a goal from Ariel Gonzalez and an own goal from Gorsd. The second leg was played in Irapuato, and in the last moments of the game Josias Ferreira scores a goal, ending the game 1-0 and returning Irapuato to the Primera Division. Second disappearance after Clausura 2004, Irapuato with 6 wins, 8 ties and 5 losses with a total of 26 points. They announced the club was relocated to Colima, but the federation reduced the league from 20 to 18 teams. Irapuato joined Querétaro to dissolve the teams. Second reappearance and third relegation. Irapuato was the city without a soccer team for 1 year, but Mérida F.C. from the Segunda Division transferred to Irapuato for the Apertura 2005. After Clausura 2006 was playing for survival to stay in the league, but they relegated to Tercera Division after losing in a playoff against Delfines de Coatzacoalcos. Returned to Liga de Ascenso. Apertura 2008, promoted from Segunda Division from Pachuca Juniors and renamed Club Irapuato por Siempre. They made all the way to the final but lost to Querétaro on the road after tied 0-0 at the home turf. Clausura 2009, bad torneo, with 20 points. Apertura 2009, changed format to 1 full standings from 3 groups from the federation and reduced the teams to 17. Clinched home field and first round bye with a first-place finish of a total of 32 points. They made all the way to the final for the second time in 3 torneos but lost to Necaxa in extra time at home after losses 1-0 on the road in the first leg. Bicentenario 2010, they maintained the roster but finished 11th with 20 points. Apertura 2010 increased the teams to 18. They brought Cuauhtémoc Blanco to Irapuato for 1.5 seasons. They made all the way to the final for the third time in 5 torneos but lost to Veracruz in full time on the road after tied 1-1 at the home turf in the first leg with their 26 points and finished in the top 4. Clausura 2011 champions. In the Clausura 2011 season, Irapuato was crowned champion by defeating Tijuana in the final with a score of 2-1. The first leg was played in Tijuana and it ended in a 1-1 draw. Goals were scored by Luis Alberto Valdez at 8 feet for Irapuato, and Alejandro Molina at 60 feet for Tijuana. The second leg was played in Irapuato and ended in a 1-0 win for Irapuato, crowning them as champions of the 2011 Clausura. The goal was scored by Jose Cruz Gutierrez in the 85th minute of the game. Squad 1: Adrian Martinez, 2: Margarito Gonzalez, 8: George Manri, 10: Cuauhtemoc Blanco, 11: Ariel Gonzalez, 89, 13: Gandhi Vega, 16: Arturo Alvarado, 18: Esteban Alberto Gonzalez, 64, 21: Jose Luis Lopez, 88, 27: Gerardo Gomez, 44: Juan Carlos Arellano. Substitutes: 6: Francisco Razo, 89, 7: Alejandro Castillo, 45: Jose Cruz Gutierrez, 64, 23: Javier Saavedra, 28: Luis Alberto Valdez, 29: Jose Guadalupe Martinez, 58: Efrain Cruz, 88, 5: Ezequiel Brites, 2011 Promotional Final First Leg. After being crowned champions of the Clausura 2011 season, Irapuato faced Tijuana, the Apertura 2010 champions, again for a spot in the Primera Division. The first leg of the promotional final was played at Irapuato on Wednesday, May 18, 2011, 4 days after winning the championship at home. Irapuato were highly motivated to return to the Primera Division after 7 years of absence. Tijuana, on the other hand, had never had Primera Division experience. The first leg of the final was tied in a scoreless tie between the two teams. Second leg 3 days after the first match in Irapuato. The second leg of the promotional final was played in Tijuana's Estadio Caliente Stadium. Tijuana made several changes to the starting 11 players, replacing defender Miguel Almazan with a forward, and changing the formation from a 5-4-1 formation to a more attacking 4-2-2 formation. Irapuato made drastic changes as well. They changed to a 5-3-2 formation, fortifying the defense with 5 players. During the match, Tijuana had various chances for goal, and the first goal came from young prospect Joe Corona, scoring a header in the first half. 3 minutes later, Mauro Gurk scored. 5 minutes after the second goal, Irapuato scored after Alejandro Molina from Tijuana accidentally pushed the ball into the net from a free kick done by Jose Cruz Gutierrez. The game ended in a 2-1 win for Tijuana. Tijuana got promoted to the Primera Division while Irapuato remained in the second division. After promotional final, Apertura 2011 reduced again the teams to 16. Cuauhtemoc Blanco played some games due to injury, but they finished in the top 5. However, eliminated in the quarterfinals against the rivals Leon. Clausura 2012 reduced again the teams to 15. Cuauhtemoc Blanco was released from the team due to injury issues but a bad torneo, with 14 points, and finished in 12th place after they can't win in final 5 games. Apertura 2012, they have the very worst torneo, with 16 points, and finished in 12th place after they can't win in final 5 games. When the torneo was over, the federation was owed $3 million for Cuauhtemoc Blanco. On December 15, they have a 65% chance of dissolve the team and be relocated to Morelos, also renamed to Zacatepec, beginning next season. Third Disappearance and played in Segunda Division. After Clausura 2013, Irapuato finished at the bottom 5 of the standings and the team was moved to Zacatepec, Morelos, and were rebranded to Zacatepec 1948. Union de Curtidores was rumored to be moving into the city of Irapuato to replace the dissolved franchise there, but the owner of Union decided to keep the team in Lyon after getting approval to play the home games in Estadio Nou Camp. However, sometime after a franchise from Irapuato F.C. was purchased, the team was revived in Segunda Division de Mexico, playing in the Liga Premier for the Apertura 2013. The franchise came to join the Copa de la Liga Premier de Ascenso Apertura 2013, where they reached the final against Cruz Azul Jasso and lost 1-0 in aggregate, so Irapuato was runner-up. At the end of the tournament, the franchise returned to Irapuato because of the restructuring that occurred in Grupo Delfines, which decided that the team that played in the Apertura 2013 at Estadio Sergio Leon Chavez's Irapuato would return to the roots to play either at Estadio Corregidora La Canada, return to Ascenso MX and third reappearance. On the 29th of May 2014, Enrique Bernier, sports CEO of Ascenso MX, unveiled the emergence of Irapuato instead of Balenas Galeana, who had to relocate because of their economic problems, same which were resolved by Guanajuatenses entrepreneurs, which in turn called for the team to move to the state. Furthermore, circulated a letter from the president of the Civil Association Club Irapuato, J. Concepcion, director, and Enrique Enriquez Bonilla, secretary general of Ascenso MX, where the AC are declared owners of the brand name and badge Irapuato equipment. Balenas Morelos was sold and moved to Irapuato and named Club Irapuato. Fourth, disappearance and returns to Liga Premier. On June 7, 2015, Irapuato was officially relocated from Irapuato to Los Mochis, Sinaloa, and renamed to Murciélagos Los Mochis, but they were close of losing a football team. Now they are returned to Segunda Division de Mexico after one season in the Ascenso MX. Historic badges. Stadium. Main article. Estadio Sergio Leon Chavez. Irapuato FC play the home matches at Estadio Irapuato, founded on the 23rd of March 1969 under the name Estadio Irapuato, renamed Estadio Sergio Leon Chavez in 1990. Irapuato played the first home matches at Estadio Revolucion. On the 27th of October 1968, the board of Irapuato invited the Spanish Olympic football team that competed at the 1968 Olympics to play a friendly match against Irapuato. The stadium recorded a large entry in the game. The Spanish beat Irapuato. The first goal was scored by the captain of Spain, Juan Manuel Sansi, in Marco Antonio Sanchez Moya of Irapuato tied the score. The 23rd of March 1969 was the official opening. In 1970, the Mexico national team played versus Irapuato. At that time, Mexico was being prepared for the 1970 FIFA World Cup. The Mexico national team came out victorious with a score of 4-1. The stadium has hosted two international football tournaments, the 1983 FIFA World Youth Championship and the 1986 FIFA World Cup. Season to season, 29 seasons in Primera Division, 48 seasons in Second Division, 7.5 seasons in Third Division. League goal-scoring champions. Nickname. The nickname Trinca Frisera, which means strawberry lashes, originates from the year 1949, when the team got an invitation to play teams such as La Piedad, Leon, and the Brazilian team Vasco da Gama. The games would take place in the Estadio de la Ciudad de los Deportes, now known as Estadio Azul, in Mexico City. The Vasco da Gama had a very good offense. In the time it was known as La Trinca Infernal. The term trinca, utilized in that time as a reference for three, Trinca Infernal. Infernal referenced Vasco da Gama's offense, which had three very agile, quick men. Don Agustin Gonzalez Escopeta, master of the sport commentary, watched the match between Irapuato and La Piedad. Chronically, the Leon vs Vasco match was on and he said, "Si el Vasco da Gama es una trinca infernal, el Irapuato es la trinca frisera que bonito juegan," which meant, if Vasco da Gama are the infernal lashes, then Irapuato are the strawberry lashes. Boy, they play nice. It was then that Don Agustin Gonzalez Escopeta baptized Irapuato as La Trinca Frisera. To this date, in any stadium they enter, the fans identify them as La Trinca Frisera del Irapuato. Shirt sponsors and manufacturers. Championship jerseys **. Past managers. Supporters. Irapuato F.C. Official supporter group Los Hijos de la Mermelada, which translates to the Children of the Jam in English. Rivalries. El Clásico del Barrio Irapuato vs Leon. Irapuato's most fierce rivalry, according to the fans, is against Leon, named after both of the teams' region. Clásico del Barrio. El Clásico Irapuato vs Celaya. Irapuato also have other rivals such as Solar and Salamanca, both teams in Guanajuato. First team squad. Note: flags indicate national team as defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. Notable players. For all Irapuato players with a Wikipedia article, see category. Club Irapuato players. Club honors. Professional Ascenso MX. Champion. Inkwina 1999, Verano 2000, Apertura 2002, Clausura 2011. Runner-up. Apertura 2008, Apertura 2009, Campeón de Ascenso. Champion. 2000, 2003, Segunda Division. Champion. 1953-54, 1984-85, Copa Mexico. Runner-up. 1955-56, Copa Mexico Segunda Division. Champion. 1953, 1954, Amateur Campeonato Liga MX del Centro. Champion. 1942, 1943, 1944, 1946, 1947, 1948, 1950, 1951, 1952, 1953, 1954, Campeonato Estatal de Football. Champion. 1919, 1924, 1925, 1931, 1933, 1936, 1938, Campeonato Federación Nacional de Fútbol. Champion. 1931, 1936, 1938, 1942, Campeonato FMF para Asociaciones Afiliadas. Champion. 1943, 1946, 1959, Liga Amateur de Guanajuato. Champion. 1928, Friendlies Copa de Oro de Occidente. Champion.